Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Big Mouth, and let's talk about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Is that what the sequel's called? Let's call it that anyway. So, as I said yesterday when I spoke about the news that Sam Raimi is most probably directing Doctor Strange 2 and the Multiverse of Madness, right? I said yesterday this was the only film from this phase that was actually interesting me. But I would think that most of those films in that slate were kind of, okay. There's nothing really, when you hear that slate, it's not particularly exciting. There's a couple that jump up, but mostly you think, right, yeah, when's the next Avengers film then? So there hasn't been much excitement within the MCU announcements. We know we're waiting to see what Feige's going to do with Fantastic Four and the X-Men. But with the announcement that Sam Raimi is directing the Doctor Strange sequel, that changes everything. Doctor Strange 2 becomes a bigger event than we ever thought it was going to be, because there's potential here. This film is called The Multiverse of Madness. That means, right, they own Fox now. They can use X-Men and Fantastic Four. We also know that there's a good relationship now, whatever happened with the negotiations with Spider-Man and all that, with Sony. We know there's a potential here to go into the multiverse, pulling versions of X-Men and even those Fantastic Four movies that most people don't really like. I think those Fantastic Four movies are pretty solid and entertaining and are really kind of MCU type of humour. But anyway, that's another debate for another time. So literally, in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, right, you could literally go and get Magneto. You could go and get Professor X. And now what's really interesting is now that we've got a young and an old Magneto, Sir Ian McKellen, and the Irish actor whose name escapes me, the younger version. And of course, you've got McAvoy and you've got Sir Ian McKellen. Now, there was rumours a few weeks ago that apparently Kevin Feige was in talks with Sir Patrick Stewart for him to be involved in the MCU. It's all starting to fit. It's all starting to make sense now, isn't it? Sir Patrick Stewart probably will be in the sequel to Doctor Strange. Probably the McAvoy will be in it as well. And I think what they'll do is, because Sir Ian McKellen and Sir Patrick Stewart ain't getting any younger, so they can't have them as their regular Magneto and Professor X. But luckily, they've got two younger versions, right, that they can use. And whatever went wrong with the X-Men franchise, Feige can fix, can't he? We know that. The man's a genius. He knows how to make things watchable, right? So I believe Doctor Strange 2 will actually integrate the pre-existing X-Men characters. Now, a lot of people have been assuming for a long time that Feige would recreate, recast, but the truth is, he hasn't been forthcoming with his plans. And he's been saying getting these guys involved would take many, many years. It would take 2 or 3 years. But you bring in Sam Raimi, who Feige has got a fantastic relationship with. They worked together on Feige's Spider-Man trilogy, right? He was there, wasn't credited, but Feige's always been around. He was around, he was helping Singer with the X-Men films, and he was helping Raimi with the Spider-Man films. Probably why they're so damn good as well, but I'm not taking anything away from Raimi. So, Feige thinks to himself, what am I going to do here? Start recasting all these iconic characters. I've already got a cast. Why do I need to start again? And I can make them look good. I can give them great stories. I can make them interesting to watch. So basically, I believe that Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness basically is going to grab these pre-existing Fantastic Four actors and these pre-existing X-Men characters, including Wolverine. Yes, I definitely think Hugh Jackman's going to be involved as well. Kevin Feige is very persuasive. So I think this is an easier way. You could call it a lazier way rather than redeveloping his own thing. But they're there. People know them. People mostly like them. So it's all there to do. And what he does by the end of this film pulls them into the main MCU universe. then he can use them. He can give the ones he wants to do films, and the ones he doesn't want, just throw them away. Now, obviously, look, as I say, it's interesting, but I do think the reason they're doing this Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness movie is because it's an opportunity. Now, let's not forget, Chris Evans is apparently left the MCU as Captain America now. We saw him age. We probably will see an older Cap from time to time. But of course, Chris Evans originally was in those two Fantastic Four movies, right? Whatever the character's called. Forgot what the character's called. This is another opportunity to bring Chris Evans on board. Chris Evans isn't going to say no. It's obvious. And I think this is why Captain Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is a great opportunity. All of a sudden, we're all excited about it. You've got Sam Raimi. Everyone's talking about the Tobey Maguire possible Spidey cameo, and I think it will be more than that, and I think it is going to happen. There's no other reason for doing this. Feige is smart. Feige knows since Endgame, the interest levels in the MCU have gone down. People are still pumped for what's coming next, but let's be honest. How many people are saying, can't wait to the Eternals? Maybe the die-hard MCU and Marvel fans, but Feige needs the mainstream audience. That's been the success of the MCU, and that is my opinion. I think this is a great opportunity. I think this is the thinking behind it. Bring in the established X-Men characters. Bring in the established Fantastic Four actors. It makes it easy. Now, as I say, he may want to recast the Fantastic Four. He may not do that. He may not do any of this. But I think the reason he's delving into the multiverse, not only is it an interesting facet, and it's a different thing that really the MCU hasn't touched on yet, I think it's a good idea you can bring pre-existing people in so you don't have to recast them. But I want you to tell me, are you excited about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness? Because I'm starting to be really excited for this movie. Comment down below, like, share and subscribe, share the channel, share the video, and I'll be back whenever with more MCU videos.